Notice what he didn't do. He didn't check his phone first thing in the morning. He didn't scroll through social media. He didn't check his work emails first thing in the morning. He didn't check the news. He didn't turn on the TV. He didn't do any of these stressors that are going to immediately send your body into a stress state first thing in the morning. Instead, he did everything that's calming your body and sending you into a parasympathetic state, rest and digest, calm state to really set you up for success for the rest of the day. Welcome back, everybody, to episode 56 of the Clean Kitchen podcast. If you are following along on my Instagram stories over the past week, then you know I just got back from Paris. And I have a few takeaways that I want to talk about from my trip to Paris that are health related. So we're going to get into that in today's episode. But I understand we're also reacting to a video, Kevin. What is this about?
Yeah. So if you have heard of Bryan Johnson, you know his story. If you've never heard of him, I'm going to summarize it for you real quick. He's the man that wants to live forever, like forever, 120, 150 years. And he's doing everything in his power to do so. And he is out of his mind, at least in my opinion. I think he's very aware of it too, but he's fascinating. So what we want to do is go through his morning routine today, and we're going to share our reactions to it. So we have that in store. So if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Music, you may want to switch to YouTube so you can watch along with us. It might be more beneficial.
Yeah. The first time I saw this guy, if you've seen him before, he looks like an interesting person, like the way he just looks. But we'll get into that eventually.
Definitely. Okay, so you just got back from Paris. First of all, we've talked so much recently about the differences between how Europe and the US just treats their food and basically their relationship with food. What were some of your takeaways from being over there, and what did you experience with food?
Yeah, so first off, I immediately noticed that the ingredients, I went into a few different little grocery stores, which, by the way, the ones I went in, at least in Paris, much smaller than your average grocery store in the United States, and way less processed food, way less aisles, way more fresh food. So that was the first takeaway as soon as you walk into these places. I did look at some of the ingredients in some products. Unfortunately, they were all in French. So I couldn't really tell. But for the most part, it was always a shorter ingredient list. I tried to pick up items that I knew were also in the United States. So just like I know this product, I know how many ingredients are in there. And I turned it over. It's like it was always less ingredients. Something else I found very fascinating was on the front of all packaged or processed food, there's a bunch of letters. It says A, B, C, D, E, and it basically grades how healthy that specific food is based on the ingredients. So that was very, very interesting. I picked up a bag of potato chips and it was like a C or a D. And then I picked up, I think it was like dried or not dried. It was like banana chips, and they had coconut oil in them. That ingredient was in English actually, and it was an A. So just the fact that you have that to go off of is so helpful. And I'm like, why are we not doing this in the United States?
It makes so much sense for someone like a trusted government body to regulate the food and grade it on a real scale. A government body that's not influenced by companies that you can actually rely on, rather than really having to go elsewhere, like people on Instagram, like yourself, to get real information. That makes so much sense. The other thing, outside of the grocery store, you also ate out a lot just because you're traveling in a hotel. Tell me about eating out. My first question is the portion size different than what's here in the US?
Absolutely. The portion size was much, much smaller for the most part, for all of the meals that we had. My main takeaways with the restaurants were that, if you've been to Paris before, and again, I'm speaking specifically in Paris, if you've been to Paris before, you know that there's a cafe on every single corner, restaurants everywhere. And at every single restaurant we went to, there was always a good, healthy option for me to get. Now, for the most part, I was getting steak or chicken with potatoes or vegetables or something along those lines, or fruit. They always had fruit as a side as well, fruit as dessert. So right away, I noticed, wow, I can go anywhere and I can basically stick to my diet, stick to eating real whole foods, which I love. You go to a random restaurant in the United States, you may not have that option, or you may really have to customize what you are ordering. So that was my first takeaway. There's these restaurants everywhere, and they're always packed. They're always so crowded. That's where everyone is eating. I don't know, I'm going to make up every 10 to 15 blocks or something. Then you would see a fast food restaurant like a McDonald's, or honestly, I think McDonald's was the only place that I saw. I mean, we were walking, 20,000 steps a day, walking miles and miles and miles. I don't know if I saw any other fast food restaurant besides McDonald's. And it was only a handful, maybe 2 or 3 I saw throughout, all of Paris that we walked. So I noticed, there's really not a lot of fast food places. There's a ton of these cafes with real food, but there's not a lot of fast food places. In the US, it's the opposite. There's a fast food place on every single corner. And then every once in a while, you get a restaurant, and, even those restaurants may not have the best options. It may just be, they got frozen food in the back, they're heating it up, and they're giving it to you. So right away, I noticed, wow, this food is way more fresh. I ordered every morning. I basically had an omelet for breakfast, and an egg omelet with bacon, a side salad, and some fruit. So anywhere I could get that, anywhere I wanted. It tasted fresh. They just made it. It tasted real. I didn't ask what specific oils they cooked it in, but for the most part, for the salad, they would always give us olive oil. And a lot of the restaurants we went to, now I didn't eat a lot of bread or pasta or things like that. The rest of our family did. But for the most part, they advertise either on the menu or somewhere in the restaurant that they use organic wheat flour. So I love that. Some of them even use sourdough. And if you've listened to this podcast before, wheat is heavily sprayed with glyphosate. And it's one of the reasons why it's thought that when you travel to Europe and say you're not have celiac disease, because that's the extreme form of gluten allergy, like anything you touch with gluten, you'll react to it. But a lot of people that are gluten sensitive, they find that they go to Europe, they have bread and pasta, and they're perfectly fine. Whereas if they did that same thing in the United States, it would wreck their stomach.
Does that mean it's not the gluten and it's actually glyphosate?
That's what people think. Some people think it may be the glyphosate. Now, I think in addition to it being organic, I think I don't know exactly how it's prepared, but I think it's prepared in a totally different way. Like I said, it may be fermented for a longer period of time into, sourdough bread, which that makes it easier to digest. There's so many other things that go into it of how the bread or pasta is made, where I think they're doing a much better job over in Europe. So that stood out to me as well. For the most part, they were using organic wheat flour. So those are some high-level takeaways.
Yep. So in the grocery store, it seems like less ingredients, which is great to see. And the grading scale. I love that, the grading scale. And then once you're in a restaurant, if you do decide to eat out, you have better options. You have real whole food options, and they're cooking with real ingredients. It makes so much sense. And so just walking around, did you notice, obviously you're in Paris, probably a lot of tourists, but if you walk around here at any major US city, we've talked about it before, there's a lot of people that are overweight. And it's very obvious that the US tends to be a fatter country. Did you see anything different while you were over there in Paris?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. It was very rare to see someone overweight or obese. Very, very rare. That was one of the first things I noticed. I was like, we got there. If you saw the video of us surprising our mom, then you know what happened there. If you haven't watched it, definitely check out my Instagram and go watch it. But so we immediately got there, we surprised our mom, and then we started walking around. And immediately I noticed, obviously I'm kind of more aware of these things than the average person. But I was like, oh my gosh, like there's no one obese here. And every now and then you would see someone, and usually it was an American that was traveling there. That was a tourist that was overweight. So a huge difference. We went to, this is like to the extreme, but we went to Disney World every year growing up as kids, you, me, and Dad. And I was always shocked at how many obese people there were there. Not just overweight, obese. Like
yes.
In wheelchairs, in different, it was bad.
The majority of people that used a wheelchair in Disney were not injured or hurt. No. They were simply obese.
Yeah. So that's like the extreme example. But in Paris, most people were very, at least from the outside, looked very, very healthy. And that gets me into another point of what I noticed was, And obviously we were in the city, but so many people were walking everywhere. And also so many people were biking. They had a designated bike lane throughout all of Paris. Like everywhere we went, there was this designated bike lane. And I'm not talking like a small bike lane, like a wide bike lane for like 2 or 3 bikers to go down. And every single day we saw hundreds of people biking to work. People are in their suits biking to work, biking, just to a restaurant for dinner. Like so many people were biking. It was just such a healthier lifestyle.
Yep. They really do. They focus on different things, I feel like, in Europe. Like they prioritize different things. And those are a healthy lifestyle, including eating well and being outside and exercising, whether that's walking or biking, which it's amazing to see. And like, it's not just anecdotal. Like, obviously, this is the story that you saw, but all of the numbers point to a much healthier Europe than anywhere in the US. So it's true.
Yeah, I was just looking at the statistics before we hopped on this call, and the obesity rate in adults in America is about 43%. The obesity rate in adults in Europe, now this isn't specifically Paris, it may be even lower in Paris, but in Europe is 23%.
That's a huge difference.
Close to half.
Yeah.
Yeah. So obviously there's healthy restaurants everywhere. They're walking and biking everywhere. The transportation, so a lot of the times we did taxis, but also a lot of the times we took the train, which is like their subway. Mm-hmm. First of all, way cleaner, way nicer than the New York subway. Like doesn't even compare. Way more normal people on the subway. Like I didn't feel scared or in danger at any point. Whereas if you go on the New York subway, it can be scary sometimes, especially if you go late at night. But when you take the subway, usually it takes you near where you want to go. So there's always some additional walking you have to do to get there. Or, when you get off, you have to do some additional walking. So that built into people's lifestyle, additional walking and, getting in those steps is so important.
Yeah.
One thing I do want to talk about very quickly is we talked about the ingredients in your average grocery store, but also the ingredients at the fast food places. If you saw the video I posted about McDonald's fries, then you'd be very surprised to know that in the United States, if you look at the ingredients in McDonald's fries, it's going to have 11, 12, 13 ingredients in there. I looked at the ingredients in McDonald's fries in Paris. It had 3 ingredients: potatoes, rapeseed oil, which is basically canola oil. That term is used more often in Europe, and salt. And that's exactly what I would expect. Now, do I wish they used avocado oil or beef tallow? Obviously, yes. But there's way less additives, preservatives. They don't use hydrogenated oils like the United States does. So even if you are going to go to that fast food restaurant to get something quick, you're not consuming nearly as bad of ingredients if you were going to go to McDonald's in the United States and order the same exact thing. How crazy is that?
It's insane. It's insane. It's all the last episode we did on how the government regulates the food. It's the same company producing the same product, but it's so different. That is just wild to think about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Another thing I just thought of, I'm thinking of a lot of things now that we're talking about it, because I was just like noticing all this stuff. Mm-hmm. Glass bottles. They use glass bottles for not only water. At every single restaurant we went to was glass water. Obviously, you have to pay for it. To me, that's totally worth it. I'm going to pay for it 10 times out of 10 to get glass, mineral, high quality, non-contaminated water. Absolutely loved that.
Do you know if it was like filtered or something?
It was, for the most part, it was mineral water. Okay. So, what's the Mountain Valley, like that brand? Oh, yeah. The very popular brand in the United States. Same thing. So high quality water, it's not going to have any contaminants in it. So I absolutely love that. Every restaurant we went to, that baby's so happy. Uh-huh. Also, speaking of the same brand having different ingredients in the United States versus Europe, ketchup. Every place we went to, they had ketchup. Again, in a glass bottle. They always brought ketchup in a glass bottle. And instead of using high fructose corn syrup as a sweetener, they use regular cane sugar. Now, is regular cane sugar the best option? No, but it's much better than high fructose corn syrup. So that was amazing. Also, Coca-Cola. Kristen got Coke one night at dinner. I guess she was craving something sweet. And again, glass bottle. They don't use high fructose corn syrup like they do in the United States. They use regular sugar. So just these little things, they add up very, very quickly.
Yeah. You were telling me too, related to the sweetness. You had some of Kristen's coffee. Kristen likes to get some sort of sweet coffee wherever she goes out to a coffee shop, and you tasted that as well. And there was a difference there.
Yes, I was always very curious to taste what she got. I would always just take one, like, hey, let me get a sip of that. Let me taste this, because you try a vanilla coffee macchiato, whatever, cappuccino in the United States, whatever they're called, and they're always so sweet. I'm like, this is literally just straight sugar, sugar, and it's usually high fructose corn syrup or an artificial sweetener or something like that. I always took a sip of her coffee that she ordered at these restaurants. First of all, it never tasted like straight sugar. There was always a little sweetness, but like not overpowering at all. You could actually taste the coffee. You could actually taste the vanilla. I don't know what, I assume they were using real vanilla bean as opposed to probably artificial flavors that they use in the United States. Way less sweet. And also the desserts that we ordered at restaurants when we would get dessert, way less sweet as well. Like I was getting a lot of the places I got like a sorbet, like a raspberry or strawberry sorbet for a dessert. And it was great. It just tasted like real fruit for the most part. Like it wasn't sweet at all. It wasn't overpowering. It totally satisfied me. We also got fruit a lot as dessert. The fruit was so good too. It was so fresh, so sweet, so delicious. I mean, it was great. It was really, really great.
There's so many good things, it sounds like. But would you ever move there? Like, is it enough to say, man, this is just too good to not be here?
No, definitely not. Because I can stick to my real whole food diet, my glass bottles, my, all that good stuff in the United States, to the best of my ability.
Yeah.
I think like just for the average person who doesn't really think about this stuff, if you go and live in or just stay in Paris for a week or 2 weeks or whatever, you're going to live a healthier life without even thinking about it, without even being conscious or deliberate in what you're doing. So, no, I probably wouldn't move to Paris. No.
That's a good way to summarize it, though. You have to be very deliberate about the choices you make here in the U.S., whereas it sounds like in Paris, it's catered to someone that's looking for a healthy lifestyle, and the options are all there. Way easier to live that life.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of some any other things. I'd say the only other other takeaway I had was there was definitely an emphasis on, obviously a lot of people are eating out, and it seems like there was a focus on kind of community and friends, and going to eat wasn't just let's go eat the most unhealthy thing we could have that totally satisfies our taste buds or whatever. It was like, let's go have good conversations with friends and family, and just that connection you could see while I was there.
Yeah, it is. They prioritize a whole different list of things. Even from my own experience working with people that live in Europe, people that work in the US tend to work very hard, very, very long hours.
Mm-hmm.
They are invested in their work. A lot of people make work a part of their personality. People in Europe, they do a great job separating work and the rest of their lives. And even, especially in the summer, almost everyone that I work with that lives in Europe takes like a month off to just relax and reset. So if you're trying to work with someone in Europe in the summer, they're not in the office. They're out living their life. And they know that work is not their sole priority. So they do a great job of just setting boundaries and setting different priorities than we do here in the US. I don't know why that part is, but it is fascinating. I think it all ties together, honestly.
Yeah, it just seems like that's their culture. Like that's the way they were taught growing up, and that's the way they continue to live their lives. It's definitely a much better culture. The average person here in the United States, obviously they're working a 9-to-5 job. When they want to get lunch, they go get fast food, maybe by themselves. They eat as quickly as possible so they can get back to their desk. I think in Paris and maybe other parts of Europe, they don't rush that. They go, hey, let's go have a meal. Let's go enjoy ourselves at this restaurant. And it's definitely a more mindful way of eating, I think is a good way to put it.
Yeah, definitely. I love it. Any other takeaways that you had?
I think those were the main things. I think they just live an overall healthier life, which, I was happy to see.
Yeah, I love it.
And if you ever go to Paris, you have to go to this steak frites restaurant.
What was it called?
I'll put the name of it in the description. It's called like Les Reyes de Encantado or something like that. There's 3 different locations. They're all the same. I'll quickly explain this. You sit down. They ask you, how do you want your steak cooked? First time I went, I said medium. Second time, medium rare. Go medium rare.
Why the adjustment?
Because mom ordered medium rare the first time. I had a piece of her steak the first time, and I was like, whoa, this is even better than the medium. So it was more tender and just melted in your mouth more. So if you go there, medium rare, the first thing they do, ask you that. Boom. Okay. And they come back with salads, delicious salads. I don't know what was in that dressing, but it was delicious. Salads. I don't eat a lot of salads. Salad was delicious though. And then shortly after, they come out with the steak cooked to your preference and a big tray of fries. I don't know what the fries were cooked in. I didn't want to ask.
They were too good. Life sometimes.
Exactly. Yeah. I was on vacation. And then they put this sauce on the steak. If you saw my Instagram story, it looks kind of gross from the picture, but it is one of the most delicious sauces I've ever had in my life. I'm going to try to recreate it eventually.
Do you know what was in it?
I looked it up after. Apparently they don't disclose, they don't share what's in the recipe, but it's speculated that it is some sort of combination of cream, butter, a bunch of herbs and spices, don't know which ones. And then they said it's thought that the secret ingredient in the sauce is chicken liver to give it a very unique, tangy taste. The way I looked it up, that's the way it was described. It was delicious. We actually went there twice. So good. You got to go to this restaurant if you're ever in Paris.
Yeah. All right. I love that. And you can get multiple. Isn't that right?
Oh, yeah. Unlimited.
Yeah, unlimited.
Yeah, unlimited.
One flat price, and you just keep going.
$29, which is a steal. Yeah. You finish your first round, you call the waiter or waitress over, and they just load you right back up.
That is crazy. Just the unlimited steaks. Like here, if you're looking for unlimited food, it's like Golden Corral. You're not getting good food if you're getting
Garden,
unlimited.
Golden Corral. Yeah, no.
Yeah, all you can eat breadsticks.
Yeah, I don't want that. Give me unlimited steak. Like the whole idea behind this restaurant was just crazy. It's just like that was it. They just had steak, fries, and salad. Like there was no menu. You didn't get to choose. I was like, we got to bring this idea back to the United States.
Yes. Yep. Exactly.
And do it with grass-fed meat, make a really healthy sauce, and then do fries cooked in beef tallow. I'm starting that.
Yeah. Because you can't even get a good steak for $29 here in the U.S. You got to pay like $50, $60.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All you can eat steak, $29.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boom. All right. So Europe, worth going.
Check it out. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Definitely recommend. Yeah. And we were there, for the Olympics as well. So that was great seeing the tennis. That was what we went to. Obviously our family is big, are big tennis players. And that was really cool seeing that up close.
Yeah. Seeing it in person was cool.
Yeah. Oh, so different than TV. I mean, every time I see a sporting event in person, I always say that, so different in person than on TV, but tennis was just, obviously I have an appreciation for it as well, since I played it growing up, since we played it, our whole family played it growing up. But yeah, really, really cool to see. I definitely want to do that again.
Yeah. Just so good in person, just a different level. Awesome. All right. I think that's it for Europe then.
Yep.
Get into some craziness here.
Let's do it. I'm excited. I haven't watched this video, so I'm live reaction here.
Live reaction. Okay. I am going to share my screen here so everyone can see it here with us. Okay. So this is Bryan Johnson. He's a millionaire, and he has spent millions on his morning routine. And his goal is to basically live forever, live as long as he can. The way that he measures this, which I think is really important, is he has a full team devoted to this goal that he has. This is basically his full-time job, is growing, basically making himself live forever. But he has a team that measures the age of each of his organs, and that's how he measures success. So like his kidney is 80, let's say it was like 55 years old. He wants to get that down to 30, 35 years old. So that's how he measures success, which I think is a really interesting way to look at it.
Yeah, that's very interesting. I didn't know you could measure each organ's age.
Yeah. I don't know how he's doing that.
Okay.
All right, let's get into it.
Let's do it.
Hi, everybody. Good morning. I just woke up. I'm pretty sleepy. Today, I'm going to do the morning routine. I did my first one 2.5 years ago. And today I'm going to walk you through every single detail of what I do. Since doing this 2.5 years ago, I've become the most measured person in history. And I think the health markers we've achieved are pretty remarkable. I'm going to show you everything I do step by step. So let's get going. The first thing I'm going to do is use this Braun thermal scan device. I measure my inner ear temperature every day. I do this as a safety and efficacy check for various therapies we're doing. If I'm running hot, then we know it's an indicator of something. The temp this morning was 96. My body runs around 3 degrees Fahrenheit, roughly cooler than normal. Most people are 98.7 thereabouts. I run around 95.5 or 96. It's a result of my dietary protocol. After this,
So first reaction here, he takes his temperature every day. And one consistent theme you'll notice, Kyle, is that he measures everything to the point that it would give me anxiety if I had to measure all of these things.
Yeah.
I think that's one of my first reactions. But do you ever take your temperature unless you're not feeling well?
Never.
No.
Even when
Do you
I'm
even
not
have
feeling
a thermometer?
Even when I'm not feeling well, I don't take my temperature.
No.
No, I never do. I never even really think about that.
Yeah. He also runs 3 degrees cold. 3 degrees is a big difference.
That seems like a lot.
Yeah. Like
3 degrees
colder.
Fahrenheit, he said, or
3 degrees Fahrenheit, yeah.
huh?
98.6 is normal human temperature. Everyone's there. And he's 95 something.
Wow.
Yeah. And he said it's
Interesting.
based on his diet, which he talks about what he eats here in a little bit.
Okay.
So you'll see the live reaction to that from Kyle.
Gosh.
But I think it's just fascinating that he wants to be colder than the average human.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. Okay. We'll get back into it.
flip on this UV light. This is 10,000 lux at 12 inches. I turn this on, and I usually just enjoy thinking about the day for a minute. I just get a few minutes of exposure. I wake up normally when it's dark outside, so I can't see the sun. And so in place of the sun, I'll use this device. It helps set circadian rhythm. It improves sleep.
All right, a lot of familiar words there, Kyle. What do you think about this one?
Yeah, this is good. This is a really good. I've heard of this product before. So the way that light is measured from the sun is in the form of lux, and this light device that he's using right now is basically mimicking the amount of light that comes from the sun. So this is great. You know, like he said, he gets up before the sun comes out. So ideally, if that is you, I would recommend a device like this. I have no idea what brand or anything this is. But this is really, really good because it's simulating natural sunlight. And like he said, setting his circadian rhythm, his internal clock, it's going to improve his sleep. It's going to kind of wake him up and allow him to have more energy throughout the day. So I absolutely love this. If you wake up and the sun's already out, you don't need a device like this. Just go outside. Even on a cloudy day, you're still going to get enough lux, the unit measurement of light from the sun. So yeah, this is great. A lot of people think that they can just turn on the lights in their home and like look at the lights and think, oh, that's bright enough. That's mimicking the sun. There's actually an app that you can get that measures the amount of lux coming from your lights in your home. And it's nowhere near the amount of lux or light that comes from the sun. So unfortunately, just turning on the lights in your home isn't going to mimic the sun. But if you get a device like this, it absolutely is.
Yeah, that's me. Wow, you were super knowledgeable on that. That's awesome. I had no idea that there was that much to it. I've never seen a product like this that is meant to mimic the sun, but it makes perfect sense. People that get up early or people that live in a place where there isn't a lot of sun. So I thought this was a really cool product.
Yeah, definitely.
I like that he also combines it with meditation. So yeah, he's standing there anyways. He's got nowhere to go. Don't get on your phone. He's going to make it a double use here.
Exactly.
Yep. All right.
The light exposure, I'll take 2 pills. It's some heme iron, 10 milligrams of heme iron and 250 milligrams of vitamin C. I am trying to get my iron levels up. They're borderline. They're okay, just borderline.
So this is his first supplements of the day. He has many more that we'll talk about shortly. But iron and vitamin C, are these any that you take?
No, I do not take either of these. So iron, I get a lot of iron from red meat. I consume a lot of red meat. I assume he does not. I've seen a video of him, what he eats before. I'm eager to see it now in this video, but I know he doesn't eat a lot of red meat, so it makes sense why he would have to supplement with iron.
Yeah.
I think you got to be careful with supplementing with iron. I think it causes a lot of digestive issues for a lot of people if you take iron in supplement form. I know it caused problems for me. Did it cause problems for you when you took it?
It did, yeah. I did an iron infusion when I was really sick with Crohn's because my iron levels were low because I wasn't absorbing any nutrients through my food. And so when I did it, I had an allergic reaction to the iron infusion. So I didn't end up doing another one.
Yeah, people don't do good with iron. So that's interesting that he's relying on pure supplementation to take his iron. Okay, whatever. Vitamin C, again, I don't take vitamin C unless I feel like I'm about to be sick or I'm sick or something like that and want to boost my vitamin C levels. But I think that I get enough vitamin C from real whole foods. I do lemon water right here. There's a full lemon juice in here, which is a great source of vitamin C. Also, just consuming different fruits and vegetables on a daily basis, you know, usually you're going to get enough vitamin C that way. So I personally always try to get my vitamins from real food as opposed to supplementation. Not saying taking a supplement form of vitamin C is bad, but if you are, don't buy one that has ascorbic acid as the main form of vitamin C. Try to find one that uses real whole foods like acerola juice powder. That's a popular one. Rose hips is another good whole food that is high in vitamin C. And then there's some other like fruits that you'll see in some vitamin C supplements like papaya and other things like that are a great source of vitamin C.
Got it. Yep. So real whole food. He has a different approach to food, but it seems like he uses a lot of supplements throughout his day.
All right, let's keep going.
All right.
I'll weigh myself every day. It's weight, BMI, fat, muscle, visceral fat, water, bone, heart rate, and EDA. That also gives me the air quality in the area, and it gives me a hand waving, have a good day. All right, then one final thing.
So he measures a lot of things there, just on that one scale. Do you ever weigh yourself?
Yeah, every few days maybe.
Yeah, just to check in.
Just to check in. I've seen scales like that before that measure all of those different things. Not air quality, though. That's what he said, right?
That's what he said, yeah, on the scale.
That's air quality like around him?
It must be. He links all of the products he uses in his video description. So we'll link it in case anyone is curious.
Okay, yeah, that one's interesting. I would like to look into that. I weigh myself every once in a while. I'm always around somewhere between 158 and 164, like somewhere in there, depending on how much I'm eating.
Yeah.
I don't really worry too much about it.
Yeah. Yep. A lot of people do. A lot of people use that number on the scale as the measure of how they feel. I think one thing that is important that he expressed in that is that there are a lot of different metrics to look at, not just the scale, the number on the scale. So I thought that was good.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Before I go downstairs, I'm going to do 5 minutes of light therapy. It's blue light and it keeps my complexion clear. 5 minutes. And it's also a nice time to do a little meditation. I'll focus on my breathing.
He's back to light therapy. He loves it. What's blue light therapy? Do you know about this?
I don't know a lot about blue light therapy. I've heard it in comparison to red light therapy, and I've heard that blue light therapy is inferior to red light therapy. But again, I don't know a lot about it. I do know that it can help with skin. I know a lot of people, I know that people use blue light therapy for something like acne, if you have really bad acne. But honestly, I don't know a lot about it to speak to it.
Yeah, interesting. He does red light therapy as well shortly.
Okay.
So it's not like he's using it as a substitute for red light. It's in addition to. I think it's interesting.
All right, complete. Let's go downstairs. One thing I've added to the routine lately is I do a meditation before I start this portion of my morning routine, about 10 minutes or so, and I've really started to enjoy it. I've learned a few different meditation techniques, but yeah, I do this for about 10 minutes. It helps me really settle myself as I get ready to go throughout the routine.
Back to meditation.
Love. This is good. I mean, he does the sunlight mimicking. He's kind of doing a little meditation. The blue light therapy, he's doing a little meditation, and then he goes and does another meditation, which is great. This is a great way to start your day.
Yeah.
I just posted a story about this yesterday, how instead of checking my phone first thing in the morning and getting straight to work, now I don't check my phone. I go outside, I go for a walk, and I like doing similar to him, like a quick 10-minute meditation first thing in the morning. It just centers you, gets your mind very calm because you're practicing deep breathing, kind of set intentions for the day, think about what you have to do on that day, and kind of, the person you want to be that day. What character traits do you want to have that day? What thoughts do you want to have? What thoughts do you not want to have? So this is great. I really, really love meditation, especially if you can just do a quick 5-10 minute meditation. It doesn't need to be an hour long. A quick 5 to 10 minute meditation really sets the tone for the day.
Yeah. You do it on your walk, or you sit down separately?
So normally I'll go outside and sit down like in the grass in a secluded area and, bring my headphones, sit down, and then just, do the 10-minute meditation. Sometimes I'll do like a walking meditation as well. I just go on YouTube and type in 10-minute walking meditation, 10-minute morning meditation, 10-minute evening meditation. Just find one on YouTube. I like trying a bunch of different ones, see which ones I like. I save the ones that I like, and then I just do those.
Yeah. Yep. I like that.
Free,
I love
completely free.
Sorry?
Completely free.
Completely free. I love that. Yep. You don't need to pay for an app. Nope. Okay. So he's a big meditator. Keep going.
Okay, now let's start the next part of the morning. My morning routine is about 3 to 4 hours. It varies on a given day. Sometimes I go a little faster. Sometimes I go a little slower. I always wake up naturally. So it's somewhere between 4:30 and 6 a.m. I wake up. I go to bed at the same time every single night. And sometimes I sleep through the entire night and I wake up earlier and I'm ready to go. Sometimes I wake up once and I have to go back to sleep. So that requires a bit more time, but I never set an alarm. I just wake up. Also, I'm being self-reflective on camera.
I'll pause here for a second. Do you set an alarm, or do you get up naturally?
I do set an alarm, but honestly, I have been trying to wake up more naturally recently.
Is there a benefit to that, or it's just a better way to wake up?
I think
abruptly.
I don't know the science behind it, but I think I feel better throughout the day if I wake up naturally. Like this morning, I woke up naturally. I set my alarm for 7 a.m. I woke up at 6:50, and I was like, boom, perfect. Yeah. We're good to go. Turn off the alarm. Don't even need it. So I think there is a benefit to waking up naturally. I think you just have more energy throughout the day. It's just like you're letting your body naturally wake up. It's probably like the end of a sleep cycle, so it's a good time to wake up. I love that. I want to point out one thing. I've noticed this now twice. In the background, he has a bunch of different products and stuff. In his bathroom, he had Aquaphor, which I'm not exactly sure what that is. I know that brand. I know it's not the best, cleanest brand.
Yep.
Interesting note. Now he's in the kitchen right now. I see a CeraVe product back there. I know for a fact those are not good. I hope he's not using that. That's 2 products. I also see his dish soap over in the other corner, Meyer's dish soap, also not a non-toxic option. So this is very interesting how ridiculously obsessed and hyper-focused he is on all of this. But right off the bat, I see 3 products that aren't even non-toxic. So interesting note.
Red flag. So I watched another video of his where he put together his suitcase when he was going on a vacation, and he packed CeraVe, and he said he uses it on his face. So I don't know if he has different science that he's looking at, or he's just not aware, but he's certainly not like fully non-toxic like you and Carly would describe on some of those beauty products.
Very interesting.
Yep.
I can imagine you viewing me. And so I understand when people look at this, they're like, that's nuts. It is nuts. But it's exactly what's required in the year 2023 if you want to do this entire process, trying to look at every organ in the body. When you see my 3 to 4 hour routine, this is not something I'm trying to suggest you do. I'm just trying to give you context on what I do. And then you can hopefully pull nuggets from it here and there on what you want to do. But you definitely don't need to do the entirety of my routine. This is the device I use for my dry eye. I'll do this for 30 seconds in the morning when I wake up, first thing. So basically I start here on the right-hand side and I move to the left. So first thing is the eye, 30 seconds. And the first time you would do this, it's going to be the most intense, it's like an orgasmic sneeze. It's the most intense feeling you've ever had in your entire life around the sneeze. As you do it more, you become more accustomed to it, but 30 seconds on each side.
Have you ever seen this device?
No, I've never seen this before. What is it at? Wait, what is it doing? Do you know?
I don't.
Did he say?
I think it's just massaging his nose there
Okay.
to the point that it's making him sneeze.
Interesting.
But he has it under eye care. So I wonder if it's helping with his dry eyes, it sounds like. I don't know the science behind this one.
Interesting product.
Yep.
And the second thing is I use these eye drops. This is for cataract prevention.
He's also very big in like getting ahead of things. So like he'll identify a disease that he could have and then try and do whatever he can to prevent it. So he's taking, I don't know that he has any predisposition to cataract, but he's taking drops that would make sure that he doesn't.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Which is interesting.
I'm aware of the air quality. So it looks like air quality in Venice today is really bad, but I'm always aware of what the air quality is like. Okay. Next is preparing the morning pills.
I guess you have a big focus on air quality too. You have the filter. Do you ever have a way to measure it?
I've never measured it. No, I guess just the air quality in my apartment. I try to keep clean with the air filter, and I don't know like around the area though.
Yeah.
Like outside, it's very interesting. That's something I might look into.
Yeah.
Every 2 weeks, my team organizes all the pills. In between that time duration, we change certain things. And when we change it, it's a manual change. And these manual pills become my responsibility. So when I pull out my pill tins, I'll take the new manual ones we're taking. And then when the 2 week time frame comes, they'll be incorporated into the whole process. Yeah, you can see we're about midway through the 2 week cycle. So I have about a week left. These are my upon waking pills. Okay, now I have all these pills ready. I'll do the Green Giant. Talmadge and I have this pre-mixed so that it's quick. I'll do 5.
These are all the supplements. He doesn't go into detail, unfortunately, into what exactly they are. This green powder, though, it's one that he's come up with. He said it was called Talmadge, which is his son's name. But he's got a few products under the company that he owns as well. I don't know if you've seen any of those before.
No, I have not.
Yeah. I wonder if it's like an Athletic Greens equivalent. He just calls it a green powder.
Yeah, probably similar, but I assume it has way more in it.
I would think so. Yeah, he's probably stuffing a lot in there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Tablespoons. You see I move pretty swiftly through this thing. I don't know how many pills in here. I think last time we reported it was something like over 50, maybe 60. That looks like a lot more. So I'm not sure what's going on here. We have very little room for more before we need to change our pill tins.
That's a crazy amount of pills.
Yeah, that's so many.
That's so many pills.
I can barely take a couple.
Yeah.
3 or 4.
Yeah. So
that's
many
50
pills.
or 60 just upon waking.
Right. Yeah. He's probably taking more throughout the day.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Let's keep going here.
All right. That was maybe 5 or 6. I'll finish it up with the morning pills down. Then I'll get the food prepped, and then we will go work out. Oh, prior to that, I'll use red light therapy. I started losing my hair in my early 30s. It's been a difficult thing. I've had to work really hard to try to keep a head of hair. And this is a useful thing. It's one of 6 different things I do. This is super veggie.
Have you seen the red light therapy for hair loss?
Yeah, I know it's a benefit for hair loss. I've never seen it like this in a hat form. He may have just made that himself.
He may have.
But yes, red light therapy definitely helps with hair growth.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is a pretty cool product. If you are trying to regrow your hair, it seems like natural way to do it.
Yeah.
No chemicals. Okay.
This is what I'm going to eat after we work out. I rotate every month. 1 month puree, 1 month whole pieces. And the puree I find to be I like it for a lot of reasons. I know people look at it and they say it's a green goop and they like to make fun of it. It's really helpful to have it in this blended form, almost like a veggie hummus. Otherwise, when you have the whole pieces, it takes me over 30 minutes to eat. Yeah, overall, it's a lot of vegetables every month. It's over 50 pounds, I think, if you add it up. I'll prepare my second.
So yeah, no meat in these meals. It is just vegetables, pureed.
Just vegetables?
Just vegetables.
I couldn't eat that.
50 pounds of vegetables a month is what he said.
That's insane.
Yeah. So he has a lot of vegetables, which, to your point, is why he probably needs an iron supplement.
Yeah, it's why he needs all these supplements.
Yeah. Yep. It's very interesting that he's discovered, or he thinks that this is the best way to do it.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
Meal of the day, nutty pudding. While I'm here, 2 cups of protein, so 1 cup of blueberries and blackberries.
There you go.
I like my nutty pudding
There's some good real food.
Yeah.
A little chalky. I go through these different phases and change it up, like the super veggie, the puree, and then the whole pieces. Same with nutty pudding. And I wonder how people in the future will look back at me if they're like, yeah, he was someone who made sense. He figured it out. Or if they're like, he was really off. The food's all.
I think he's fortunately very self-aware, which is good.
Yeah. He's also, I like that he's not saying like, okay, you should be doing this exactly. He's saying, this is what I'm doing. I know I'm crazy.
Yes. Yeah. He is. He's experimenting on his body.
Yeah.
So when we come back in, we're going to eat. All right, what I'm going through now is I'm going to work out pretty quickly. We only have 20 minutes to film right now. My workout is normally 30 to 60 minutes. So I'm going to go really fast. It's probably going to be pretty hard. I'll be breathing hard. I won't be talking much. But if you want to see my full workout, the link will be below. Yeah.
All right, I think we can skip this here. But he basically just pulls weights on a sled and then he lifts weights.
Okay. Yeah. The sled is very, very good. I know. Yeah. I follow Knees Over Toes guy, and he loves the sled for, knee health, and just like overall leg health. Like it's one of the best. Like he's like, if you could do one exercise, it's that. So that's good. I also just saw a clip of him doing pull-ups, which is great.
Yeah.
I love doing body weight stuff. So
yeah,
I'm sure his workout looks relatively more normal than everything else that he does.
Yeah, pretty standard workout here. And it is in a condensed period of time. Like he said, he goes basically all out for 20 to 30 minutes.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
27 minutes. We got it all done. I didn't do as much high intensity exercise as I normally do. Lately, I've been doing 4x4. So 4 minutes at 90 to 100% of max, 4 minute rest. I just did one today. Get my heart rate in the 160s. Otherwise, I got a full workout. A lot of you are very good at exercise, so you do your thing. For most everyone else, getting up and doing things in the day is really the most empowering thing. It doesn't have to be highly technical. It doesn't have to be this entire list. Just doing the most basic of exercises, just getting your heart rate going, really gets your mind and your body in the right place. And so I don't want anyone to feel overwhelmed by this. Oftentimes, life is defined by our ability just to take that first baby step and do the most minimal of actions in life to help start building momentum. We don't need to do all these different things. I know when I was in my worst time in life, it was impossibly hard to get out of bed, let alone stare down, getting the kids ready for school, and then knowing that it would be good if I exercised, but then not having the willpower to do so, and then grappling with that whole thing. So, so I guess the message here is if you're in a tough place in life, baby steps. Don't feel overwhelmed. Don't feel like you have to do what I'm doing or what others are doing. Anything, the smallest of thing is going to be a big win and get you in a better place than where you have been. So I hope this is encouraging, not discouraging. And, I was there a couple of years ago. Like I trashed my body and mind for almost 20 years. And if I can come back from that really bad spot to being in pretty good health now, you can too.
I thought that was my favorite part of the video.
Yeah, that was really, really good.
Yeah.
This is something, I really like that. If you are someone that struggles going to the gym, you're not motivated, you don't have the energy, blah, blah, blah. If you can just go, even starting off even easier, just go for a walk. Like that could be your exercise. But I've found that if I'm not in the mood to go to the gym, I really don't want to go lift. I really don't want to do this. I don't have the energy. I just tell myself, well, let me just go down to the gym and let me stretch for 2 minutes. A 2-minute stretch turns into a 5-minute stretch. A 5-minute stretch turns into a 10-minute stretch. Then I stretch for 10 minutes. I'm like, well, I'm already here. Might as well do some pull-ups.
Mm-hmm.
Then I do 10 pull-ups. Then I'm like, well, I just did 10 pull-ups. Might as well do some tricep exercises.
Mm-hmm.
And then next thing you know, I'm there for 30, 40 minutes and I just got in a full workout and I feel way better than I did before. I have more energy and I just feel good. So going for walks is a place that I'd start if you're literally doing no exercise at the moment, but then just go to the gym. Just go down there and then you go down there and leave. I think we've talked about this before. Walk in the gym and then walk out. If you walk in, you're probably not going to walk out right away. Like just go do something. Just say, oh, okay, I'm going to go down there and do 10 push-ups or drive to the gym wherever your gym is.
Yep. Yeah. Tiny little habits tend to compound. So if you can just go for a couple minutes, then that's all you need to just get started. And who knows, once the ball gets rolling, it might just keep rolling.
Yep, exactly.
100%.
Now is one of my most favorite parts of the day. I get to have breakfast, which is a few pounds of vegetables. I grew up eating cereal. I now love eating vegetables. If you would have told me as a kid that as an adult, I would be eating this many vegetables for breakfast every day and loving it, I never would have believed you. It's true. All right, so super veggie. Then I have...
He loves his vegetables.
Yeah, good for him.
Yeah.
Some fermented foods. This is 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil.
Nice.
Of course, there's never a time in life too late to start taking care of yourself. Also, if you're 10 to 20 right now in life, what I would give to go back in time and begin.
So from there, he basically just closed out the video with talking about how important it is to do this kind of stuff. No matter what age you are, you can start wherever. And then he just finishes his breakfast there. But that's his morning routine. So he said 3 to 4 hours. This is what it takes him.
I mean, that's a very long time. But yeah. I mean, that honestly wasn't as crazy as I thought it was going to be. The food and the supplements is what is most interesting to me. But everything else makes perfect sense. And I think, like he said in earlier in the video, I think a lot of people can take good nuggets from this morning routine and apply it to their morning routine. Doesn't need to be 3 to 4 hours long, maybe an hour, maybe 30 minutes. But yeah, this was good. This was good video. I really like a lot of his talking points too. Yeah,
it would be really easy to just hate on him because he's crazy. Yeah, and he knows that. Like this, it's not a knock against him. He's experimenting on his own body, which is fascinating. But light therapy, meditation, exercising, eating food, like eating healthy food. That's it. Like that's, if you boil it down, there were 4 things that he did. The supplements too, but if you don't want to go down that route, like if you can focus on those 4 things and incorporate that into your morning routine, you're doing better than 99% of the world.
Exactly. Focus on those things, and then also notice what he didn't do. He didn't check his phone first thing in the morning. He didn't scroll through social media. He didn't check his work emails first thing in the morning. He didn't check the news. He didn't turn on the TV. He didn't do any of these stressors that are going to immediately send your body into a stress state first thing in the morning. Instead, he did everything that's calming your body and sending you into a parasympathetic state, rest and digest, calm state, to really set you up for success for the rest of the day. So yes, pay attention to the things he did do, but also look at the things he didn't do, which I think a lot of people do. I used to do that as well. I used to check my phone first thing in the morning, scroll through Instagram, check my emails, check my texts, maybe turn on the TV. It's all these things are setting you up for, unfortunately, failure for the day if that's how you're starting your morning.
Yeah, that's a great call out. I didn't even think of that. So many things he did not do in this 12-minute video. Mm-hmm. Yep, I love that. All right, that's it. That's Bryan Johnson.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, that is going to be it for this episode of the Clean Kitchen Podcast. Hopefully you enjoyed the information about Paris. Hopefully you enjoyed this morning routine video, a little bit different than normal, but I kind of enjoyed walking through that and reacting to it. I do want to say we are going to take a few week break from the podcast. We have a lot going on now. I'm moving to Florida in a couple weeks. I'm actually headed to Minnesota right now for a Simple Mills little retreat thing. We're going to tour one of their farms. So I'm just very busy for these next few weeks. Kevin and his wife are expecting a child in 3 weeks?
Yeah, 3 weeks.
3 weeks. So we just have a lot going on. We're going to kind of take a few week break, regroup. But we will be back eventually. And I just want to thank everyone for listening to the Clean Kitchen Podcast. We appreciate you. As always, don't forget to rate or review on Spotify, Apple, and subscribe on YouTube. Thank you so much. Kevin, you want to close out with anything?
Yeah, thanks everyone for listening. We love that you all come and listen to us every week. And if you have ideas on what you want to see us talk about, let us know either in the comments, DM Kyle, whatever it is. We want to build this podcast for you. So part of the time away is rethinking how we want to make this the most valuable for you. So all input is appreciated.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you shortly.